Good, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Lights Out Sports Podcast. Tonight, we are coming cross country. My name is Sir Hyundai, filling in for Michael Ballantine, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, in the United States of America. Joining me, of course, is the regular co host for the show, Cheese, from Football with Cheese.
Yes.
Subscribe across all the platforms you're watching. Glad you guys are listening here tonight. Hope everyone had themselves a wonderful day today. How's it going for you out there today, Cheese?
Yeah, it's going good. Sorry we're a little late starting. A lot going on. So we're just trying to figure some stuff out, but doing pretty good. How are you doing, man?
Real good. Just like you, a great day today for myself. Enjoying all of the just enjoying a wonderful day out here in Cincinnati. Bit on the warmer side, but as you know, it is uh, the time of year where I don't know about your part of town, but over here it starts to get real humid and we start to feel it. So uh, hope everyone.
Oh, I mean, I live in Texas, man. I know what
Ah,
humid is.
right. Well, part of there. You're part of the NBA Finals festive that's going on with the Spurs and Knicks, obviously. So I'm sure that's how you get a lot of that out there in that part of town. I'm sure
Oh, the
because
Spurs and Knicks. I honestly am not a big NBA guy at all,
right,
but
but that
yeah. Well, let
so
me ask you about this real quick then, because like we don't have NBA, in the notes tonight, but Are is the NBA is I have a question for you because I think you are an NBA guy. Do are they going to make sure it goes to 7 games? I feel like the refs are going to make sure it goes 7 games no matter what. I feel like every game is going to be somehow fixed. I could be wrong. What do you think?
uh, I predicted a 7 game series before this final started. So I mean it's doable, but uh, who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I mean, I agree. Some of the calls the other night was a bit head scratcher, but if you know what I
A
mean.
bit, a
Yeah,
bit.
I just say a
There were
bit. I'm
some
just taking.
flagrant fouls, man.
Yeah, I take more of a subtle approach when it comes to that. It's never been my nature. If you understand what I mean. I mean, I understand it, but it's just never been my nature. If you know what I mean, never
I
has
get it.
been.
I get it.
So, uh, so uh, lots to get to here tonight. Hope everyone out there themselves a wonderful day today. Lots to get to. The controversy of the NCAA, as we know, they allowed Brendan Sorsby back. It's caused a lot of chaos everywhere, as you know. Uh, the two big trades this week in the NFL involving Miles Garrett and A.J. Brown to the Rams and Eagles, respectively.
Hmm.
Who really won those trades, short term versus long term? And we break down what has been basically one of the more competitive divisions in the NFL in quite some time, the NFL Central. NFL Central, I do apologize. And for a while, all five teams were over 500. And people were wondering who was actually going to win it. Probably the most competitive division in baseball we've seen in quite some time because I haven't seen anything like this for the longest time. I don't know about you, but for me, it was follow the Central or most divisions. I haven't seen anything quite like it. How about you?
No, it's I haven't either. It's been real competitive. It's been really fun. So yeah, we'll talk a lot about each team. We'll break it down on the show tonight.
Great. All right, we're gonna head, go ahead and break it down. Right down to it. It's of course the big news that took place the other day in the at college football. Football. We know, of course, the whole controversy with Brandon Sorsby. We know first
Hmm.
the NCAA ruled that is you that
I got
ruled that
this. Hey, I tell you what, I got this because I want to get your
uh,
take on this, Saran.
okay.
Because I will talk to Mike about this when he gets back. So I want to get your take on this because you know I know where I kind of have a feeling where Mike stands, but I want to get your take on this. So he was granted his eligibility by a Texas judge. He transferred to Texas Tech.
Mhm.
Um, After the first judge recused himself because he had ties to Texas Tech. So Sorsby's been caught making thousands of bets on all kinds of things, including Indiana games when he was a student. He was a student there, but he didn't play in those games. But still, he was a student. He had access to the team and the players, the coaches. He did spend last season with Cincinnati before transferring to Texas Tech. So the NCAA obviously they made him ineligible because of said bets. And Sorsby will now only sit out the first two games, and they're against, by the way, Abilene Christian and Oregon State. Okay, guaranteed wins. And 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 get this. The NCAA apparently cannot stop Sorsby from playing after those two games. So the judge, there's more. Oh, this is crazy. Judge would go on to say that Sorsby being away from the team and not playing football would cause him, and I quote, suffer a probable and imminent and irreparable injury. Sirhan, what the heck does that mean?
I mean, didn't the guy irreparably injured himself by doing this in the first place? I mean, that was my wild guess. I mean, that's what it's going to be known for forever. It's just the ruling is just it's something. I mean, I can't wrap my head around. I mean, it's another case, just in generally speaking, of I've always said that I know it was an independent judge compared to the NCAA, but once again, it can't get out of his own way. I mean, it's always something with everything related to college sports, everything related to the NCAA, and this ruling the other day really raised my eyebrows when I heard this thing word for word. I mean, given the guys from Lubbock, the judge was apparently from Lubbock, Texas, if I'm correct. You had a feeling something like this might happen. And
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's from Lubbock, but it was somewhere like in the area, like not far away, is from what
right,
I heard. So
yeah.
yeah, that's definitely an issue.
So yeah, I mean, the Seas were playing it when it was going to that judge, and everybody had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Everyone had a feeling. People were talking about it. If they get a Lubbock judge, if they get a Texas judge, then this could be overturned. That was the one thing most people thought. Okay, he's probably going to have to do supplemental draft, but if they get a Texas judge, that this could be overturned, and obviously it did. So my next question for you is: do you think judges in general have too much power in this country?
Uh, it's case by case, but this case, I think that's what it was. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. We read his ruling on this. I mean, I can't think of any competent judge who could come across something this unfathomable, just unreal. How I read the ruling and how he called it irreparable damage. I mean, the guy did it to himself long before this, and you know, you had a feeling, as you said, the Seeds were playing it when it went to this judge, and you knew this was going to happen. So, Mike, for this case, I can't say this in general because it's all case by case, but just in this situation, yes, I think it was too much power, and I think he knew it, and that's why he made the ruling that he did. That's the only thing. Because I still can't put two words together why he made the ruling that he did.
So here's what happened. You heard he went to therapy, right? For his
Yes,
gambling addiction. So what
yes,
his lawyers, and he's got some very good attorneys,
has
clearly.
to for this. Has to for this.
Yeah. They sent him to therapy and then use that and say being away from his teammates hurt his mental health. He needs to be with his team. He loves football. That's his life. And they used that. And then the judge either ate it up or was paid off or whatever, ate it up. And so that is why we're here. The whole therapy thing, mental health, they use mental health. That's the big thing in society nowadays. People all
Mm-hmm.
have the mental health issues. This was very well planned, very well done by his attorneys. And I got to give them credit. They they milked this and they did a good job and it worked. So here's the big problem though. What precedent does this set? So meaning like college athletes now think, okay, well, this guy gambled not only on all kinds of sports, but on his own team. Even if he didn't play, he gambled on his own team and he still gets to play college football. So, and he still gets to retain his eligibility. What precedent does this set, Saran?
It's going to set not a good one, and moving forward, it's going to raise a whole lot of questions because people are going to point to this now if there's future cases as if to say, look what happened with it. He got it, so why can't I? I mean, it's going to create
Yeah,
all kinds of chaos moving forward, and it's not going to be a good look down the line.
I just cannot think anyone that is ineligible for whatever reason now is going to try to stay eligible. I played in the NFL for 7 years. I should be eligible because I didn't play enough. Or they're going to try everything now. Any little thing and try to convince a judge, and then the judge just can rule NCAA has no power. I think it's pretty insane.
Yeah,
Uh,
the rule. As I told you, the ruling is just. I read it. It's just absolutely wild how he came up with it. That's the one that still blows my head away. So how he came up with it. I mean, yeah, we talked about how the seeds planet being as you know from Texas Tech, but how just blows it away because everybody said he shouldn't play, but the judge does. I mean, it's real inconsistent, and that's going to be the bigger line moving forward
yeah.
because we're not going to have a straight level consistency as future cases like this come around.
Yeah, it just felt like the judge used the mental health and just found a way to give him the eligibility and not just make a fair ruling. Like he found one little thing. So yeah, I think this is going to be a huge problem. Uh, but
Very.
yeah, multiple universities, including University of Georgia and Nebraska, they're not letting any of their sports teams schedule Texas Tech. Like I said, any sport, because of this. Do you agree with that stance? Would you do the same thing?
I this is actually a tough question because that's going to be the ricochet effect of all of this because everyone's going to say Texas Tech endorsed it, so we don't want to schedule it. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with scheduling, but again, the problem is because of the university that allowed it and how everything just was just a lot of bad residue after the result. It's going to happen with this university, regardless of sport, because of the fact we're not going to see this. And once Sorsby takes a field over in uh, University of Texas Tech, which is going to happen, is going to open a real can of worms, not just for the football program, but across all sports. And because of
Mhm.
it, you know, everyone's going to think they allowed it, we can't have it, and it's going to create almost a borderline toxic atmosphere moving forward.
I agree, and I understand why they're doing this. They're like basically what these teams want. I think they're trying to force Texas Tech um, to not play him or kick him off the team. Do
Mm-hmm.
you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, I mean, here's the question I want to ask you because Texas Tech, you know, they had an opportunity to say this was wrong. Sorsby should not have done this. We just found out about this. That he will no longer be a player on our team. He can attend the university as a student, no problem. They had an opportunity to do that and said we condemn this. They didn't do it. So do you think that Texas Tech should have already like kicked him off the football team before, like as soon as we found out about all these bets before this appeal process? Because obviously, like you just said, they are fighting to help. They're helping him to get him to play, just to win more football games. Do you think they should have done that?
I think so because of the atmosphere it's going to create. Because it's going to be real weird out there at Texas Tech this season once he steps on the field, not just for the university or the team, but across the entire NCAA football landscape.
I just wonder there's going to be so many boo birds every time they're on the
Oh,
road.
there is, and
Yeah,
it's going to be relentless.
it is, and every time Sorsby does anything, they're going to boo. I'm a Braves fan, and Marcelo Zuna, after this horrible things that he did to someone, he would go on the road and just get booed relentlessly. And I get it. I if I was opposing team, I'd probably do the same. So I get it. Um, so is Texas Tech now the villain of college football? Do you think?
Absolutely. It's easy right there. I mean, the fact. I mean, they have to play that role and have to accept it, and it's almost by default because that's where it's going to come down to. Because you know, everywhere they go, they're going to hear it. Brendan Sorsby's going to hear it, and all of those signs on college game day is going to go after him. And you know how those things
Mhm.
work on the ESPN college game day with all the signs. They're going to go after Brandon Sorsby and Texas Tech, and they're going to go after him quite hard.
Yeah, and they had an opportunity here. They had an opportunity to have integrity, to show, okay, he made these bets. We're not going to let him play. But clearly, Texas Tech, That's not what they're about. They're not about student athletes. They're not about ethics. They're about trying to win football games. And he is the best quarterback on the team, clearly. And so they're going to fight, do whatever, just for one season too. He only has one more year of eligibility.
Yes.
So that's what Texas Tech cares about. And that's why I agree with you. They have become the villain of college football. And I never would have thought that like 3-4 years ago. Never, ever in a million years would have thought Texas Tech would become the villain. Last question about this topic. Did Brendan Sorsby just make the NCAA the good guys for the first time ever?
I mean, that's saying a whole lot. I'll just say that. It's saying a whole lot because he said with everything with the NCAA has been known for in recent years, especially recent weeks with the expansion of the college basketball tournament and the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I always say it. They can't get out of its own way. And for this, just this one time only, I would say one time only, they look good. And I said just one time only. And that's saying a whole lot about it. We consider the history of the NCAA, that's been scrutinized for everything they've done and scrutinized majorly, and they do look good on this one for the obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think NCAA handled the situation well. I think they handled it
I agree.
the way they should. I have a lot of problems with them. If you are a regular in my channel, you know that. But I think they handled this perfectly, and they did the right thing. And some judge is allowed to just overturn the ruling. And yeah, I think it's crazy. And this isn't in the notes, but you're a Reds fan. I have to ask you this: what would Pete Rose think about this? Like, what he went through, all the punishment he gone, he's passed away now, never got in the hall, and it just Brendan Sorsby, like 2 games, just that's it. He's gonna miss the first 2 games versus 2 teams. So Pete Rose had what a punishment that man went through. What do you think?
Well, right now he's got to be turning in his grave. Let's get it out of the
No
way.
kidding. No kidding.
That's the only way I can certify it. I mean, I know he said something. I remember with the situation with Shohei Ohtani with the Dodgers. You remember how that came out? I could probably see something stronger than that. And he had some strong things to say about that, the Ohtani situation. He would go stronger on this one because I said it was right where that territory what Rose did, and he has to be turning in his grave at least, or up there just face palming himself at this kid because that's the only thing I can conclude with what he would do about something like this. He'd have something to say.
Yeah, I think this is bad. I think this will, obviously it's going to make Texas Tech the villain, but I think it will hurt college sports overall for years to come. And this could create so many more problems. We'll obviously see what happens, but I'm shocked, and it's just bad for college sports. And college sports is going down. Well, college football in general is just going down anyway with all the NIL and the transfer and everything.
And now we talked about with how they recently expanded the college basketball and football tournaments, and they got a lot of backlash for it. Yeah, it's headed it was headed in the wrong direction. A lot of this happened. Just send it back even further, and it's not a good look.
Do you just made me think of something? So you expanding the college football playoff. Here's my biggest problem with it, right? Is like Alabama Georgia game means nothing when they play each other.
Yeah,
it means nothing because they're probably both going to make the playoff. Texas versus Texas A&M might need anything. It might need anything. Like these big rival games. Okay, if you start 1-2 versus 2 good teams and win out, you're fine. It doesn't matter. So every game, it's not as important. The regular season games are not as important. What do you think?
It took the luster of it, and rivalry week doesn't have the luster it once had. Someone made a good point because I'm in an Ohio State Michigan chat. If theoretically Ohio State goes into wrap up a college playoff, are they going to sit guys for that rivalry game, or are they going to play them for rivalry pride? Because now you just created a mess out of it, and all those big time rivalry games. And you mentioned Alabama, Georgia. Remember, once upon a time, those two were the top when they had the old BCS. They were 2 of the top 4 for the most part. Always has been. Now they're always battling for that position, especially we talk about for the SEC championship. that's what you're going to have moving forward, and that's why it's a hot mess.
That's a really good point. So, will this lead to teams in rivalry week not schedule a rival, to schedule a cupcake, just
That's
in
what it's going to come
case?
down to.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like let's schedule Abilene Christian in case we get in the playoff. That way, yeah, we can rest our starters. It's just I don't know. There's so many games. It's like early on, uh, these big rivals, and it used to be if you lost it meant so much, and now you lose. Oh well, there's 12 teams in the playoff. That's fine. Like Alabama, they were embarrassed in the SEC title game. Embarrassed. They still got in. It's like why? Like how would it? I had a huge problem. Anyone that watches my channel knows I had a huge problem with Alabama getting in to the college football playoff. They had no business getting in my opinion. But yeah, I just it's devalued the regular season, and trust me, they're not going to stop at 12. They're going to make it 20 at some point.
Oh, it is. That's what's come down to.
Yeah.
Before proceeding, a couple of comments here. Of course, our own Michael Ballantine says NIL money is more than a rookie contract. I wholeheartedly agree because that's what it's come down to. Don't be surprised if the money here overdoes what rookies make in the NFL because it's going to come down to that probably if it's not there already, it will come down to that within the next couple of years, in my opinion.
I saw a thing where now this is the top college players, but like the top college player is making more than the 8th overall pick in the draft. That
Wow.
So if you are not guaranteed top 15 pick and you're a great college player, why would you go pro? Just
Right.
stay in the college.
And Michael tells us, gone for 1 week, and look at all this college football talk. I mean,
he loves college football.
Yes.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. The Brendan Sorsby
Oh yes.
thing.
I mean, that's what this is the ricochet effect of the news that took place the other day because it exposed a lot of things and opened the biggest can of worms across the entire college football landscape. Not just for Sorsby or Texas Tech, but across the entire college football. Because if something like this happens again, it's going to become a bigger mess, and people are going to point to this moving forward.
They are. This could create problems moving forward. And I don't know. Do you have an early favorite for the early pick for the best team in college football? Maybe. Do you off the top of your
Not at
head?
the moment.
No. Okay.
I haven't thought into that yet. Some of them stand out. I mean, everyone's of course still going crazy over Notre Dame not making the thing last year. I think they should have a better team this year. Of course, I'm an Ohio State guy, so I'm going to ride with them. I mean, of course, the SEC. I probably favor Georgia. Was my default. I don't follow that conference like I used to, but I'd probably make him a favorite.
I don't know about Georgia, man.
I don't know about again. I don't follow the SEC like I used to because it used to be Alabama and Georgia up here. Everybody else like way down there.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we talked about in the.
They're hyping Texas. They're hyping Texas because of Arch Manning, but we know that Arch Manning is not as good as they're hyping. We know that.
Yeah, I saw the first few weeks. I saw the opener against Ohio State, and I was still waiting for that buzz everyone was talking about with this kid. I didn't see it.
Well, you got to give Arvell Reese credit in that game. I watched that game 3 times, and every time Arch Manning wanted to do something, Arvell Reese was hitting him. But all right. Good college football talk. Yeah, Mike, we haven't had a lot of college football to talk about. And of course, he's away, but it's his own fault for going away. I know he loves college football. So,
this is the most college football I've talked in quite some time. I mean, I do talk. It's just because of everything that's happened over the last several years, it's become a mess. And it's like, what is there to talk about? I mean, the last few years, one thing that sort of, I'll admit, this is more of a me thing because I've always known this. When they went from having the SEC on CBS to now the Big Ten, because remember, it used to be the SEC title game on CBS. It was Georgia, Alabama. You had Vern Lundquist and Gary Danielson.
Yeah.
And now you have other people calling it. And now this game is on some other the other networks. Is like it's a weird feel to it. I mean, that's why I don't talk about it because now it's not the feel that I once remembered it as.
Yeah. That nostalgia, the same guys calling the games. I get it. Yeah, it's completely changed. I'll just say this. Watch out for Oregon. Watch out for Oregon this year. Dante
Yeah,
Moore, I
yeah.
really like him a lot. And if Oregon does win it all, it'll be the fourth straight year a different Big Ten team wins the national title, which would be incredible.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
so so
It'll be
watch
something.
out for Oregon. I think they're
Yeah,
going to be really, really good
yeah. I think he made the smart thing to go back to school as opposed to go to the draft because his stock
because he
wasn't
would
going
have
to
been a
reach.
Jet. Because
Right. Yeah. Go back to school instead of being a Jet.
he
But
would
yeah.
have been a year Jet. He would have been. He didn't want to
Oh, he
be.
would have. But I think he's going to excel over there next year at Oregon and pick up his skills. And hopefully he doesn't wind up on the Jets.
For his sake, I hope so. Or the
Right.
Browns, one of them.
Right.
All right. Let's switch to the NFL. So there were two big trades last week. First off, the least surprising trade in NFL history had been rumored for months. The Philadelphia Eagles sent wide receiver A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots. The Eagles received a fifth-round pick next year and a first-rounder in 2028. So, my question for you, do you like this trade for the Patriots?
On the surface, just for the sake they need a number one wide receiver, I would say yes. Because
Mhm.
you saw how bad that wide receiver core was in that Super Bowl against Seattle, which just shut them down.
Mhm.
They didn't even have, I mean, they had Kendrick Butte and, of course, the corpse of Stephon Diggs, but that was pretty much it. Doesn't really say much. Of
They
course, he
didn't
signed,
separate. They didn't get open at
yeah,
all next to
yeah.
They didn't.
AJ
Yeah.
Brown's going to change that somewhat uh, because of what he brings. Of course, they got Romeo Dobbs. I think is going to be a good number two next to him. The only question is going to be: is AJ Brown going to actually not be what he was in Philadelphia and Tennessee, where at times he was a
Just
diva?
just call him. Okay. I knew you were gonna say diva, but yeah,
Yeah,
call him a
but
diva. Yeah.
yeah, but because I remember him as a diva in Tennessee. I remember him as a Philly.
Yeah.
If he's as long as he's not a diva, it's a great trade for them because they needed a number one because
Mhm.
he's going to not just help Drake May because he has a target. He's going to make all those other receivers better because he's going to have some of the attention toward him, and everybody else is going to be open. And they got Romeo Dobbs as a good acquisition, but it's going to come down to whether he can not be a diva. That's what it comes down to. And from the Philly angle, I
Mhm.
already talked about it. I like the fact they got a first round pick out of it. So, but for New England, they needed a number one. And I know that this is probably the least kept secret for obvious reasons because we knew that from way before. That's why I called it the worst kept secret. It finally happened. They got what they wanted, and it is what it is.
If AJ Brown is not being a diva, if he's motivated, if he's getting, I guess, enough targets, um, he's it's great. He's a great player. I love watching his film. He is so good after the catch. He is so good down the field. He is a weapon, and he's one of those guys. I talk about this a lot on my channel. One of those guys that defensive coordinators you have to at least design your game plan around. You cannot let this guy go off. He's one of those guys. But he's been traded twice. Players that good typically do not get traded twice, and there's a reason. So, why it looks really good on paper, and Patriots fans are very excited, and they should be, because they didn't have that true number one, and they did not do well in the postseason. They didn't separate enough, especially going against Denver and Seattle, which those are probably the two best secondaries in the NFL. Definitely
Two overall
two,
great defenses.
yeah, two great defenses. Those receivers didn't get open for him, so it does help New England a lot on paper. But they just got to hope that he's just not going to be A.J. Brown. Just something goes wrong, he could create problems.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned Philly. What do you think? Do you think they gave up too much, too little? What do you think?
Part of it is going to be who they get on that pick down the line. It's sort of hard to tell. I know how
Sure.
we know how Howie Roseman is. He's not going to just trade for the sake of trading. If you're going to trade someone like that, he wants something of value, and he got it. I mean,
Mm,
on the surface, people want to say they got too much. I don't think so because yeah, they went on number one. They got it. So we'll see where it goes. But I don't think it was too much given who the guy we're talking about because that's who they wanted. Some people are making it like they should have gotten more, but I don't know how much more you could have gotten for him. So I'd
You
probably
could
say,
have gotten more.
yeah, exactly. So I'd probably say they got the right value for him, about as good as they're going to get.
I heard the rumor they were getting just a 2028 first round pick, but they also got a fifth rounder next year too. So when I heard that, I'm like, okay, I think that's the best they could have possibly done. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so the thing with that is, I'm going to applaud the Patriots just for not giving up their first runner next year. Anytime you can push a pick future in the future year, it loses value
It
anytime.
does.
So I applaud the Patriots for not giving up their pick next year, especially because next year's draft is going to be epic. It's going to
It
be one
is.
of the strongest drafts ever. It's not only going to be strong at the top, it's going to be deep. So I applaud the Patriots for keeping their first round pick. But at the same time, the Eagles did get a pick next year, fifth, but they did get a first rounder, even though it's in the future. So I think it made sense for both teams. It's one of the rare trades. Gun to my head, who won? I'd probably say 51% the Patriots, but probably 50-50. I
That's how I
really
look at it
think,
also.
yeah, I think this makes sense. And I think the Eagles got a little more than I expected. At the same time, can you value, like, is there value for the type of player AJ Brown is? Like, I get Makai Lemon first round pick. Really, really loved his film at USC, but even so, he's not as good as AJ Brown.
Mm-mm.
He's not. Like, they're Eagles fans. I see him on X, and they're saying, "Well, no, he can just replace." No, he can't. There are things that AJ Brown can do that he cannot do. So this was not a strong draft. The 20th pick in this draft is not as good as close to as good as AJ Brown. So yeah, it's one of those rare trades that I think help both teams. And I just the Eagles. I think it was just time to move on. I think it just
Yeah, it
wasn't
was.
working with Brown.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah.
was. I mean, you saw it just basically stale out the last year, especially in that playoff loss to San Francisco, where the whole thing you can tell, energy just went out of sale, out of the room that before the game, and it was one of those things where both sides needed to part ways, just like how in a different way he needed to part ways with Tennessee. And we know that we talked about the common denominator with him. I mean, I'd take a bit of a harder approach with this. I'll just say it because everybody got what they wanted. It's time to deliver the results because if you get what you want, anybody can get what they want. But the Patriots wanted AJ Brown. Apparently, he wanted to go to New England because he was hoping. I don't know this. I guess he wanted them to draft him at one point, and he has a bunch of Patriot stuff in his house. So he
Okay.
got what he wanted, and now you got it. Deliver. And for the Eagles, we talk about Makai Lemon. I like this talent, but to ask a rookie to come in to fill the shoes of a player like AJ Brown it's not a bread and butter type fit because it's going to take some time. He might have that talent, but to do it immediately, that's not going to happen.
Well, he's not as big and he's not as good down the field. He just isn't.
It doesn't get enough separation.
He does. He's just not AJ Brown. They're very different type of receivers. But I like the move for the Eagles to go get him. You had to go get another receiver. Let me ask you this, because I talked about this on my channel. I think might sound strange. This may actually, in a way, help Jalen Hurts because it's basically been AJ Brown. Does he get open? Look at him. Okay. Then we look at Devontae Smith. He's not open. Then we check it down to Dallas Goedert or Saquon Barkley. That's been their offense. Now he has Makai Lemon, Eli Stowers, both in the draft, two big weapons, trading for Dontavian Wicks, signed Hollywood Brown. So all of a sudden the group is deeper. So maybe they can spread it out more. Maybe he just looks at what the best matchup is, not necessarily just look at this person, then look at this person. So do you think it possibly could help Jalen Hurts not having that one guy who wants targets?
I mean, it's possible because you said he's got the room now. I mean, the touches he gives to AJ Brown, he can distribute it. It'll help teach him how to be a better distributor of the football. So, I mean, I probably see it from that angle. It should help him, but of course, it depends on the new offensive coordinator. Maybe they just fired the one after the playoff loss and brought a new one in. Let's see how that works. So that's going to be another interesting aspect of what goes on in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Giants, Cowboys, and
Commanders.
Commanders. I always want to say Redskins. It's almost like I feel like they're not as good as the Eagles. I don't think they are, but I think they're getting closer. I think they've caught up a little. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so, especially without AJ Brown.
I know they're probably a little early to say out there. I think Dallas had a heck of a draft, and I think they closed the gap. And with that, what they did with the defense, getting I think if I could pronounce it correctly, Mekhi Lawrence, and of course Caleb Downs. That's going to be better. Philly's still the team to beat in that division, but if they hiccup, I think Dallas could take it.
Caleb Downs, man, he had no business falling to pick 11. That's it's just I talk about so much on the channel. Like, this is ridiculous that no one took him. That 9 teams passed on him, and one team passed on him twice. A division rival, the Cowboys.
Yeah, but remember, I guess there's some rumor that went out there. He supposedly had a knee problem. I guess that was it.
I heard that. I just I don't know. I think it's crazy. And
Right.
if there was a guy that had a knee problem that fell the 4th round, Jermon McCoy. So if he had a knee problem, he would have fallen that far. Like, he didn't fall.
Right.
He still went 11th overall. And if Dallas doesn't take him, like, there's all these teams, the next probably would have taken him as well. Like, he wasn't going to last much longer. I still think the Dolphins, who traded with the Cowboys, I still cannot believe they didn't take him. But
okay. Okay, a couple of these comments real quick. Of course,
okay.
Our buddy Michael. After we talked about, says we're blaming him. I mean, after we talked about how he goes away, we're talking all this college football earlier. This new guy here, we'll bring him up here. Tyrod.
Yes,
I'm a new subscriber to you all. Thank you for subscribing. Always
Appreciate
welcome new
it.
subscribers.
Appreciate
like,
it.
share, subscribe. You know what to do. And of course, who do we like? He's a Lions fan only. Much love to the Lions. I said you guys have, at least in my eyes, one of the 5 greatest running backs of all time in Barry Sanders, a top 5 all-time great wide receiver in Galvin Johnson. And I know Dan.
Top 5? I mean, top 2 maybe. Barry Sanders top 2.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I like to be more broad because I don't.
Okay. I got Jim Brown, Barry Sanders 1, 2, and I think there's a big drop off. But anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. But I know sometimes Dan Campbell drives those fans crazy with some of the decisions he makes, but but heck of a team. Much love to Detroit. So, got this one here.
I got Detroit winning the division this year.
I think it's possible. I mean,
I think they're going to win the division. They're playing a last place schedule, and the rest of the teams, the Bears didn't do enough to get better in the offseason. The Vikings, they need Kyler Murray to play great. The Packers have just way too many issues for me, especially Micah Parsons might miss half the year. So I think the Lions are going to win the division.
I think they have a real shot at it. And
they still have a good roster. They had a bad year last year. They have a good roster.
Yeah, they do. Just bad luck on some of it. And for the Bears, I'll just say this. I mean, the offense is good, but not, a lot of people put Caleb Williams on a pedestal. I'm not yet. I know he had a very good year last year, but I'm not going there yet. But they needed to fix that defense. And I don't know what it is on a defense that they really fixed, aside of drafting that player in the mid-rounds. I can't think of his name. Who's a safety? His first name is Dylan. I can't remember his last name.
Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. I really love that. I love that pick. I love that fit for them. I did love the pick, but that's like other than that, I didn't love their draft at all.
I think they drafted like a couple other like tight ends when they already have. I think if I'm correct, the team already has like Luther Burden and Colson Loveland. I mean,
Colson Loveland. They have Cole Kmet. They have 18 tight ends.
Yeah, 18. I knew I lost count after 10.
They took Sam Roush out of Stanford. There was a run on tight ends on day 2. I'm not even going to talk about Caleb Williams. I've talked about him enough on this podcast. But the defense, they need to do more in their front 7.
Yes.
And they're going to play a first place schedule. They played a last place schedule last year. We've seen teams, New England and Chicago, played last place schedules. Look what it did for them. It can change your whole season. And Detroit is going to play a much easier schedule than the other 3 teams. And they still have a very good roster. They still have a lot of key pieces. So, yeah, if I was picking right now, I would definitely pick Detroit to win the NFC NFC North. Yeah.
And back to your point of Chicago and New England, especially New England, who represented AFC in the Super Bowl. Remember, we had the last place schedule you're basically the hunters. We're going to find out how good they are when they're the hunted, because now this you have, of course, AJ Brown, Romeo Dobbs with the New England, and Chicago just winning the division and going to the divisional. We're going to find out how good they are because when we get that first place schedule, you're going to become one of the hunted, and those good teams out there are going to come at you with your best.
They're going to play Seattle when the Lions play the Cardinals. They're going to play Jacksonville when the Lions play the Titans. So, that's what they did last year. They played the Raiders when the other three teams played the Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs, and the other three teams lost, and they beat the Raiders. Of course, they beat the Raiders. So
right.
That's what the Lions are about to do. So, I think I think the division could completely flip. I think whoever got last, I think the Lions could be first, then Vikings, then Packers and Bears. I think it completely flipped from last year.
And of course, it. Me, your division, that's one of the more competitive ones. All four teams, 9-8 or better. So we'll find out soon enough.
It's a loaded division.
It is.
Absolutely. Every single team finished better than anyone in the NFC South.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
A couple of these other quick, of course.
Oh, we got more?
Yeah, a couple more. Of course. Michael
feel about Proctor. Hold on. How do I feel about Proctor? Okay.
He's a sizable body. He's got a body. I'll give him that.
So Tyrod. Let me just say this. I am a Packer fan, but I'm a really realistic Packer fan. I'm not one of those that think I'm not going to pick him win the Super Bowl. I'm not stupid. But I have talked about Kane Proctor on my channel a ton. I think it was a major reach. I am the 25th best player. I'm a draft analyst. I've been covering the draft for many, many years. I am the 25th best player, and I had Caleb Downs number 2. And the second best player. And they could have taken Caleb Downs. They took Caden Proctor. And the argument that people were making was, oh, he's a tackle. Left tackle is more important than safety. But then guess what? He's playing guard. So it's not a premium position. Guard's not a premium position. I think he's overweight. I think he needs to be motivated. I think Alabama offensive line typically bust. I just felt like it was a major reach. And I know the Lions were interested in him and were wanting to draft him. I don't care. I think he's got a lot of red flags. And I think the Dolphins, no brainer. Take Caleb Downs. You need everything. The Dolphins roster sucks. It's probably the worst roster in the NFL. When you need everything, you can take anything. Just take the best player. They could have taken Caleb Downs, one of the best college safeties I've ever seen in my life. He does things that it's incredible what he does. You're an Ohio State fan. Do you remember the Texas-Ohio State game? Not this year, the playoff game. Every time Quinn Ewers wanted to throw something across the middle, nope. Caleb Downs shut all of that down. He jumped all those routes. Like he changed that game. Everyone remembers Jack Sawyer for making that big play. That's what you remember. But Caleb Downs was the best player on that field in that game.
He was.
He was incredible.
I agree. He was. Yeah, I agree with you about Proctor. I saw him a little bit of Alabama. He was hit and miss. Showed signs that he can do something. Yeah. But it's more misses than hits. That's what it comes down to with him. And I said, my guess is he's more of a project than someone who's going to come in and fill it on instantly. So, but we'll see.
He has size. He has one thing. He has size and length. That's what he has. And I think they fell in love with that and fell in love with the offensive line. But
right,
I don't. He's not near the prospect Caleb Downs is. I think.
No, he's not.
I still cannot believe that the Dolphins did that.
Right. Yeah, and the Dolphins are just a hot mess, as you just talked about. Good luck with them for the next couple of years.
Oh, it's been over 30 minutes. Can you put Mike's comment out there? No, I've talked about it. Sirhan, tell us where we can find you.
Okay. If you follow me on the X platform, I host a show called All Era Sports with Sirhan. I talk all the sports from past to present. I use it more as a tutor to help people out because too many people in today's era, I'm sure you've seen it yourself, Cheese, that people are prisoners of the moment. They see something today, they act like it's the greatest thing they ever saw. I use it to talk about things I see and read about and say, it's not about better or best. It's what I saw. You can catch them on the X platform at the handle of Sirhan on X. You can catch, I have a YouTube channel with the same handle. You can also find me if you want the audios. You can catch it on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify with a sport name All Era Sports with Sirhan. I talk past to present, anything you want to, all sports, NFL, NBA, boxing, even some college sports, baseball, even to areas of other sports like soccer. And with the World Cup coming up, I'll be venturing in those fields also.
I can honestly say I haven't watched soccer in over 30 years.
I mean, I do from time to time. I do from time to time, but but the World Cup is always going to be because of my heritage. Our country's always represented in it, so I always
Where? What country?
I was born in the States. My parents were from Turkey. They came here
Oh,
the year
Turkey.
before I was
Okay.
born. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Does Turkey typically they typically have a good team? I have no idea. Like,
They're supposed to have one of the better ones this year. But remember,
okay, cool.
in a Euro Cup a few years ago, they made it to the semifinals, just lost to the Netherlands.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah.
All right, nice. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what? Go ahead.
Little factoid nobody knows about me. So,
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that either. Yeah. So here it is. Football with Cheese is my YouTube channel. You can follow me on X or just football cheese, not with the with, because apparently it's too long. X wouldn't let me do it. I've had a lot of problems with X lately. Elon, you got to fix it, buddy.
yeah,
yes.
yeah. He nuked me because he thought I was one of those spam bots. Yeah, he nuked me because he thought I was a spam bot.
He's not letting me. So what I've been doing lately is taking idiotic takes by supposed insiders or professional like NFL writers and calling them out for their just teams are telling them what to say basically because they want access. They're not actually reporting. So I've been calling that out, and they're not. I guess I don't know if I got reported. They're not letting me link their actual tweet. They're not letting me do it and show it. I'm having a lot of trouble with it. So I created a ticket. We'll see what comes of it. But somehow I guess I've been, what do you call it? Shadow banned in a way. Because I keep calling out the idiots who they want access. So they're going to hype up whatever the team tells them. And journalism's pretty much dead. So yeah.
Pretty much. That's what's come down to, because some of the ones with the Bengals over here, I know do the exact same thing. And it gets, you look at it, you're like, really? Are you saying it because you really believe it? Or are you saying it because you're being told to say it? I mean, we have a lot there with Bengals coverage in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they're saying Shamar Stewart's going to be the breakout player. He's 12 and a half sacks guaranteed this year.
There's
no doubt about it.
There's at least a dozen articles here in Cincinnati saying that about Shamar Stewart. At least a dozen I can remember.
Every single time a GM, the Packers media is so bad about this. They make a terrible pick, and 2 or 3 years later, it's the Mr. June. They hyped them up as, they're the breakout candidate. Jordan Morgan and Lucas Van Ness apparently are going to be all pro this year. Lucas Van Ness has been terrible as an edge rusher. Jordan Morgan, oh my God, he's going to be the left tackle. What a nightmare that could be for the Packers. 2 former first-round picks that just are bust. They were terrible picks. If you read these Packer writer tweets, they are both going to make the All-Pro this year. They're these big breakout candidates. I mean,
right?
We've heard all before.
I think Mike is coming at me saying, "You are a spam bot."
They pretty much are. Yeah. Yeah, but Shamar Stewart, he's better than Myles Garrett. You didn't know that? Apparently, according to Cincinnati.
Yeah. He's the greatest edge rusher to ever come into the NFL. That's how it is over
here. Speaking of Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Browns have traded him to the Los Angeles Rams for, get this is interesting, for fellow edge rusher Jared Verse, a first rounder in 2027, a second rounder in 2028, and a third rounder in 2029. So let's start with the Rams. Sirhan, do you like this trade for the Rams?
I do, not as much as some people do. The reason why I do is because they need someone on the defensive front that can command attention. Because you watch that Rams front as the season was going on, the pressure, early on, they were getting pressure on the quarterback. As it was going on, it started to it wasn't there as much, and because of it, that secondary got torched. Especially when we talk about
Oh
the
yeah.
NFC, the two big games in Seattle, end of the season, and the NFC title game. Myles Garrett just on the field is going to make that kind of an impact. It's going to help that defensive front, and they got a lot of solid guys up there. We talk about Byron Young, who I remember the first few weeks he came out like gangbusters and just faded. Him and Kobe Turner are going to uh, help. Braden Fisk is on there. I think just his impact is going to help them. Uh, Question is, how can he duplicate what he did last year in Cleveland on this team? Now, the good thing with him is he's going to have a defensive front with guys that are talented. And sorry, I just put this out there. Sorry, Michael had to do this to me. Sorry, I apologize, everyone. But yeah, I think just him on the field and how he commands attention is going to help them. And if he, as long as he can produce, it'll help. What's going to help him this year, especially the Rams? Remember, they got Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson in that secondary.
Yes.
So that there is going to help them. And I think
big
just
time.
on the surface, if Myles Garrett is still able to get to the quarterback like he always does in Cleveland, it's going to help. And certainly help the rest of the guys in the defensive front also.
So what the Rams did is they doubled down. You mentioned Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie. So they couldn't cover JSN, Jackson Smith Jigba. Yeah. We'll just say JSN from now on the rest of the podcast. Okay. They couldn't cover him. And it was a big problem in the game. And they lost a close game. And they're like, okay, we have to beat the Seahawks. Like they're like, okay, how do we beat the Seahawks? We not only improve the secondary, but we can also improve the pass rush as well. So they doubled down. They didn't just sit back and say, we'll just improve this one position of weakness because corner was their biggest weakness. Let's upgrade the pass rush as well. But Jared Verse had a pretty good game against Seattle. Charles Cross, the left tackle of the Seahawks. That was, but you mentioned Kobe Turner, you mentioned Byron Young, Braden Fisk. They didn't do much in that game. And Jared Verse was pretty much their only pass rush. Is Jared Verse as good as Myles Garrett? No way. No, he's not. But he is younger and he is still very good. So the Rams are better. There's no doubt about it. They're better with this trade. But Jared Verse is what I love about him is he doesn't try to go around you, do some inside counter move, speed rusher. He's like, I'm going to go through you. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. I'm going to run through you. And Teron Armstead retired, and he only went up against Jared Verse once. He retired, and they asked him, who are you looking for never go against again? And he said, Jared Verse. I only went against him once, but I hated going against him because the guy was just trying to destroy me on every play. So, well, I like this move for the Rams. They're better with the draft capital and the fact they gave up. Jared Verse only been in the league 2 years, 3 years left to control. I think, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of like it a little bit better for the Browns. So how do you like it for the Browns?
I like it a lot because, well, everybody's saying Cleveland should have gotten more capital for this trade. Jared Verse is as good as any first-round draft pick for the reasons you said. Because when he's on the field, I mean, he's not Myles Garrett, but he makes as close of an impact as he does, and Cleveland's going to see that with all the draft capital. Now, remember, they didn't want to trade Jared Verse to begin with, but they had once it was out there, they had no other choice.
That was the only way they were going to make the trade. Cleveland had to get Jared Verse in the deal. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why I liked it for Cleveland. They had to get an impact player, a guy on the rise, and Jared Verse is only going to get better. And considering he's a hometown kid from Dayton, Ohio, I think he'll perform better up there with all the draft capital going on over there. And we talk about the secondary over with the Rams. I mean, he's got a decent secondary there. If Denzel Ward can stop having 10 concussions a day, I mean, he's as good a cornerback as there can be when he's on. And that defense, I mean, even if you take Myles Garrett out, they're still pretty darn solid. But of course, one of the questions for that defense,
it's a good defense. There's no
very good. Yes.
But
the only question I have about the defense this year is no Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator, which is going to be very interesting. But I think if you talk about Short term, I think is more of a wash, but I think long term, I think Cleveland wins it.
Yeah, they got Carson Schlesinger and Daniel Graham in the draft last year. I think were huge additions. So yeah, that defense, yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses. And obviously, you don't have Miles Garrett anymore, but you did get Jared Verse. And I talk about this when the Packers traded for Micah Parsons. I said right away, the Packers won this trade because you cannot get value in the draft for that kind of player, like a Hall of Fame talent. Maybe you do, but like what, 1 or 2% chance you hit on someone close to that?
Mm-hmm.
But what the Browns did, and Andrew Berry, I ripped him my channel but before this offseason. Now I'm like praising him. He had a good offseason. He said, draft picks are unknown. You can get all the draft picks you want. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. He made sure he got a very good player, not a great player, but just a very good player in Jared Verse as well, and a first, second, and third round pick, and a first next year in a very strong draft. So for that reason, I think slightly. Well, I mean, they both won. Let's be honest. The
I think so.
Rams
I
are
agree.
going for it, and the Browns, they're not going to be good this year. They're not going to be good next year. So why not trade Miles Garrett at 29 years old when he's at his peak? So this trade, the more I look at it, the more I like it for both teams. So long term, though, long term, not this year, long term, who do you think wins? Who wins this trade?
I'm going to say, call me crazy, but I'm going to say Cleveland. I mean, they're going to have the picks. They could build around it. If the Rams, you can go all in, but if you go all in every year and not have it, if not have anything down the line, that what's going all in do for you? Because now what's happened, as long as Miles Garrett is there after this trade, it's essentially Super Bowl or bust. And I mean,
It
I know,
is.
I know, I
Oh,
know.
definitely.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna say you have to win it every year. If you don't get one Super Bowl out of this with him, if you're the Rams, it's a failure because that's what it is. I mean, you basically push the poker chips at the table and saying, "This is the gamble I'm going to take." I mean, yeah, Miles Garrett is 29. I mean, still has a lot more football left at its peak, as you said, but you got to get it done now because of pushing all the chips to the table. And for Cleveland, they're not doing that. They know they're not doing anything over the next year or two. And when you think about it, down the line, because remember, in the next 2 to 3 years, who knows what's going to happen with the rest of the AFC North with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati? There's going to be an opportunity there for them to capitalize on it because that
Yeah.
division over the next couple of years, there's going to be a lot of questions, and Cleveland can just
Especially in
seize at
Pittsburgh.
opportunities.
Especially in
Yes,
Pittsburgh with the quarterback.
right.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, Super Bowl bust. The thing is, the Rams, it is Super Bowl or bust. Like if they do not win the Super Bowl before they made this trade, I think it was Super Bowl or bust.
I think so too. Yes.
Before, like they're the one team that like they're going for it. If they do not win the Super Bowl, then it's a disappointing season. Most teams, most, not all, but most, you will not have a disappointing season if you don't win the Super Bowl.
Right.
But definitely with the Rams. Any final thoughts before we talk baseball?
Uh, I just want to say, I think one thing that you have to commend the Cleveland Browns for doing, they owed it because of the contributions Miles Garrett gave to that franchise. And knowing they're not going anywhere, they owed it to him to play on a contender for a chance to win. They deserve commended for putting Miles Garrett in that situation just as much because we talk about how Andrew Berry is ripped. He's mainly ripped because of the Sean Watson trade, and we know the story about that one. But he's bounced back nicely over the last couple of years as a GM with some of the draft moves he made. But he did the best thing he did was put Miles Garrett in a situation where he can win because they owed it to him for the contributions he gave to the Browns franchise.
They do, but he did have a no trade clause though, so he could have. But you're right. They weren't going to trade him to. They gave him no trade. They weren't going to trade him to someone else and then try to convince him to waive it. So yeah, I get what you're saying. All right.
One
Let,
last one last
go ahead.
comment real
Go
quick.
ahead.
Michael said this good point
Oh,
because
Michael's
of
going.
course about the Rams because this is a hot rumor. Aaron Donald. I mean, if he does come back, I just play theory. If he does come back and he only plays like 5 or 10 snaps, I mean he'll do something.
Oh yeah.
I mean he's Aaron bleeping Donald. I mean, when he's one of those guys, he stands on the field and he'll make an impact. Just the thought of Aaron Donald and Miles Garrett on a defensive front. If
Oh,
Aaron
and Gus
Donald,
Turner. and Byron Young. Yeah.
Good luck trying to find someone to double team because it's going to be a wild situation. I see the Aaron Donald workout videos. I mean, he looks in phenomenal shape. I think he can come back. Remember, but he's doing workouts. He hasn't done anything football workouts, and you know those are two different things.
I think he's been working out since he retired anyway.
Yes.
I think, and I talked about this last week on the pod. Me and Mike talked about it. His wife tweeted something, y'all, like, you all are all funny. Like, you guys are funny, meaning I'm in charge and he's not coming out of retirement. And, you're married, right? Right. You're married. Yes. Okay. Mike has admitted his wife is in charge. So I'm not married. I have a girlfriend, but I'm not married. But it sounds like it's not happening according to her. So who knows? But she put cold water on it. So I don't think it'll happen. But if it does, even if he's 80% of what he was, he's a terror. Like if he's 80% of what he was, he's one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. Like that's how good he was. Like the Bengals have a Super Bowl if he doesn't play in that game or if they could block him at all. Oh my God. Like Cooper Kupp won the MVP. Cooper Kupp, sorry, but I'm sorry. Yeah, PTSD for you. Cooper Kupp won the MVP. That's fine. He caught a lot of balls. He was not even close to the best player on the field. Aaron Donald should have won the MVP.
Yeah, Donald was also behind him was Von Miller with the mid-season trade, who was pretty darn good himself in that game also.
Yeah, I agree. So, all righty. Let's talk baseball. So you are a Reds fan. So we're going to break down each team in the NL Central. It's been an exciting division. So I think, and I think you would agree, it's been the best division in MLB this year. And
I haven't seen anything like it where for the longest time, as you sorry to cut you off, that we haven't seen anything like it. Five for a while. All five teams were at least 4 to 5, 7 to 8, 7 games over 500 at one point, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Every team was above 500 almost the entire year until the Reds have lost 5 straight. But all teams until less than a week ago, all 5 teams were above 500 all year. And the craziest thing about the division is every single team except the Cardinals has spent at least a few days in first place. And all 5 teams have spent at least a few days in last place. I know it's nuts. We're going to talk about the Brewers first. We're going to kind of go in order. We'll talk about the Reds last. So the Brewers are currently in first place. They have a 5.5 game lead after going 27-10 their last 37 games. Pretty incredible. They have the second best record in baseball, only behind the Atlanta Braves. Awesome. I'm a Braves fan. Every year the Brewers, they seem to trade away some of their best players because they don't want to pay them. It's just the way the Brewers have always been. Yet they find themselves in first place yet again. They've won 3 straight division titles and 4 out of 5. So, Sirhan, how do they keep doing this?
Well, I mean, the simple answer to this is, of course, they take their top pitching staff of Jacob, if I can pronounce this correctly, Mizorowski, who's just pretty good at. Start with that, and to talk about how they do it. The notable guys are on IR. That's what makes this team crazy with what they're doing, and they do it again every year. I mean, same thing. I think last year the teams are ahead of them, and they just sneak up on you. They just do things. Reason why I say this as a Reds fan, I admire what they do. It's such a throwback way because they do it in a small ball type approach with a great pitching rotation, and of course, continuity in that front office that they know what they're doing. And when you have that, we can know what you're doing in the front office. And you don't need the star power, and you have what it takes to do the things they do. You're going to be successful. And again, I think if I'm correct, at one point they were like quite a 5 or 6 games back of first place out of nowhere, and then boom, here we are again.
For like 2 weeks, they were in last place.
Yeah.
Here's what the Brewers do, and it's amazing that like the teams that have these really rich owners, like the Mets, for example, like the Cubs, uh, can't duplicate it. And the Tampa Bay Rays do it as well. They develop as well as anyone. Tampa Bay and Milwaukee, they don't spend anything in free agency, uh, but somehow they develop not just pitching, not just hitting as well. They develop as well as anyone in their farm system. That's what they dedicate to. And, like the Cubs have done a great job of developing bats. They've done a terrible job developing pitchers. Yankees, they haven't developed. Mets, they don't develop their farm system. You'd think with all the money and resources they have, they don't do as good a job as the Brewers and the Rays are the two best teams in baseball. There's a reason why they're almost always like good, those two teams. Like they shouldn't be. And they always, okay, guys get a year or two away from free agency, let's trade them. And they get prospects back and then they develop those prospects. So it's just pretty incredible. And I hate it because I hate the Brewers. I I always disliked them, but started hating them after they even let Ryan Braun back on the team. I lost all respect for him. So
Yeah, they shouldn't. That Alan, that shouldn't happen. And his speech after he was caught was even worse. If you remember that.
Yeah. Anyone that's watching that doesn't know, you can look it up. I'm not going to get into it, but the fact that they let him back on the team and they acted like nothing happened, I lost all respect for the organization. And I just don't like the Brewers at all. But you gotta give them credit. They always seem to do this. And they're in first place. They have a 5.5 game lead. And in second place is the St. Louis Cardinals. They have to be one of the league's most surprising teams. Most people had them finishing last in the division. I did. Mike did as well. They traded away veterans like Sonny Gray, Brendan Donovan, Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado. God, that's a lot of players that contributed last year. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for the Cardinals, yet they're 35-28. And if the season ended today, they would be the top wild card team. So, Sirhan, what has been the key for the Cardinals this season?
Well, I'll start with this because a lot of teams struggle with this, and the Cardinals probably one of the few that has it as a solid bullpen.
Mhm.
Oliver Marmol is as good as anyone in that bullpen. Uh, the you talk about the rebuild strategy. They're just bringing in guys like Jimmy Crooks. Also, they talk about a small ball with Milwaukee. Cardinals do the same thing. Their walk rate. I'm just reading this right now. I'm reading it to you. 11.2%. They're drawing walks. That's if you look at the series against the Reds, how he got swept. That's what happened. And of course, the sudden power surge of Jordan Walker, who's just carrying the offense, and who's just been absolutely the second he hits that ball, it's going out of the ballpark. And that's pretty much it. And the manager Oliver Marmol, his strategy, his fingerprints are all over it. Heck of a manager doing the job.
I don't know.
I hate it myself, but
I don't know if he's heck of a manager.
What's interesting is, if I'm correct,
he's made some dumb moves over the years. But go ahead, Zach.
The interesting thing, if I'm correct, despite all of that, they still have a minus run scored, run allowed ratio. Yeah. That's even the crazier thing.
You mentioned their bullpen. Their bullpen is overachieved, I think that's been big.
A little bit. I think so.
Who thought that Riley O'Brien could be an effective closer? And Ryan Stanek actually has pitched well. Who knew? Like, they got the best out of
Stanek's had a bit of like a mini renaissance almost.
Yeah, Ryan Stanek, he's never been that great, but he's pitched well. Yeah, the bullpen has been much better than expected. And Jordan Walker, he's been a monster. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball this year. He was a top 10 prospect. It was a huge disappointment. He found it. So that's big. Rookie JJ Weatherholt as well has been very good for them. So it's just working. Like they're finding a way to win a lot of close games, kind of like the Reds the first couple of weeks, but we'll talk about them in a second. But the Cardinals, I don't know if they can hold up. I don't necessarily think they're going to make the postseason. They could, but it's pretty incredible what they've done. And, I've ripped Ollie Marmol for years, but he has to be one of the favorites for manager of the year.
Has to be. We talk about how it might fall off. Right now, they have an easier stretch of the schedule. I think half their teams are teams below 500, so they can get some wins out of it and still find a way there till they get to the tough part of the schedule. Because June set up to be, I don't say easy month because there's such things as easy games, but on the surface, because they're playing so many teams under 500, they might be able to rack up some wins out of it.
Yeah, it's they're in second. Like I said, they're 7 games over 500. Even if they play 500 the rest of the way, they have a very good chance of being a wild card team because now 7 teams make the postseason. Okay, next up,
Couple comment, one
oh,
comment
got
from our
some
buddy
comments.
Michael,
Who you got?
real quick. He talked about the Arenado thing. He said more likely than not. I probably lean toward it. And we talk about the
His
Brewers.
wife's in charge. Yeah, if his wife's in charge, it's not happening.
Right. For the Brewers signing 21-year-old AAA outfielder Luis Lara to a 7-year, $31 million contract today. This goes about what you talked about with their farm
Luis,
system.
yeah.
Yeah, developing, and I think it's one of their top prospects they have out of that farm system in Milwaukee, if I'm correct.
So what the Brewers are doing is he's dominating AAA, by the way. What they've done this multiple players. We're going to give you more money now. We're going to take a chance that you're not going to, fall off. You're not going to like stop putting in the work because all this guaranteed money. They're not going to go out and give anyone $400 million.
They're not.
We're going to pay you more now. It might hurt us now, but this will be the bargain of the century when you're 28 or 29 years old. That's how they're operating business. We'll see if it works. The Braves have had a lot of success doing this. Ozzie Albies, Ronald Acuna, Michael Harris contracts look great. Maybe not Austin Riley. Maybe that's looking bad. But for the most part, they've had success doing this. And that's what the Brewers aren't just doing this for guys that are young. They're doing it before they even, play in baseball, play in the majors. Mm-hmm. So I like the strategy and I hate it. Like I said, I don't like the Brewers. I hate them doing this, but I get it. And at least they have a plan. A lot of teams just don't have a plan. They're just, let's see how this season goes. Let's see what happens next year. The Brewers have a plan on how to run their organization.
Every time it said the consistency in the front office helps. Not only are they doing it for current, they have a plan for the future, so they can play now and the future, which is something you don't see much in the baseball fraternity these days. You said it best. The Brewers and the Rays are excelling at this.
Yeah, imagine trading Corbin Burns and being just as good. Imagine trading Freddie Peralta and being just as good. Like, this doesn't happen. You don't trade your best pitcher and you still are just as good the next year, but they find a way to do it. So, yeah, I hate it. Anyway, let's talk about three more teams to talk about. So the Pirates and the Cubs are tied for third at 34 and 32. Let's talk about the Pirates first. Their improvement is pretty obvious. They struggled to score runs last year. In fact, they were dead last in runs scored, 3.6 a game, which is awful. This year, however, they're 6 in runs per game. They score 6 in runs. They're 5 runs per game. But here's the thing about the Pirates. They were 6 in runs allowed last year, and this year they're 19th in runs allowed. So what do you make of the Pirates this year? Can they contend? And what do you think of their future?
Well, it helps when you have an ace like Paul Skeens to do basically to go build around him. I mean, the rest of the arms are good. I mean, the lineup is solid. I mean, the question is that which can they get through that so-called pirate stigma, which over the years shows early on brings promise, but as the season goes on, when they play the stronger teams, winds down because that's been always the issue. But
yeah,
as long as you have Skeens as your ace, you're always going to have a chance because you have an ace. The rest of the arms are going to fall into place, and their staff is very. I won't say it's great. I would say it's solid, and they have their lineup is good, but not pretty darn good. Also, I probably think I don't know if they would contend this year for any kind of the wild card spot because NL some of the teams in that it's real deep, but down the line. I like their chances, but they have to find a way to just get rid of that pirate stigma, which has been playing in Pittsburgh for like at least the last decade, if I remember.
Yeah, there are 2 things really about the Pirates. One, if you told me they were 6 and 1 and 19th the other, you thought they were 6 in pitching and 19th in runs scored. That's what's shocking. If you told me they were 6 in runs scored, I would have thought they'd be in first place because all their young pitching, because of Paul Skeens. Their lineup is definitely maybe not the most improved. That's Washington Nationals, definitely, but one of the most improved lineups in the league. But here is the problem with the Pirates, and I watched every pitch in over the weekend. They played my Braves, and they made a ton of errors. Their defense was a problem, and the Braves swept them. Uh, but there was miscues. There was not necessarily best communication. They're not a very good defensive team, so that's something they'll have to improve. I think their future is really good. I think 2027-29 is going to be their stretch, but they've got to improve the defense. The lineups improve. They can hit now. Good young pitching, but they've got to improve that defense because it was abysmal in that series against the Braves.
And not just that, but throughout the season, they've had games where the defensive fielding sometimes is like a comedy of errors. That's you said
Yeah.
that's got to improve. And they have the players who can get good at it, but it's about putting it together. I mean, the talent is all there, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to uh, get better.
I
Actually, I got this
no, that
from
one.
Michael. I think it's about the Pirates. If I'm correct, they've been outscored in those Central Division games 101-50. Yeah, that is the division's going to be that good. You can't have that. You cannot have that. So
No, and they look bad. They look bad in all three games against the Braves. Braves did all the little things better. They played way better defense. The bullpen for the Braves was much better than the Pirates. It looked like a team that, yeah, you can see the talent, but they're just not quite ready. And yeah, like I said, 2027-29 is probably their stretch. Uh, but I think the future is bright with them. But the defense was, God, it was absolutely terrible. Okay, two more teams to talk about. One team I like, one team you like. So the Cubs, they were 27-12 on May 8th after their second 10-game winning streak of the season on May 8th. Crazy. It's been an absolute disaster ever since. They even had a 10-game losing streak after that. I think they're one of two teams ever to have two 10-game winning streaks and one losing streak in a season. They've already done it. Uh, every year, every year, people expect the Cubs to overtake the Brewers, top the NL Central, mainly because they have a higher payroll, and it just never happens. Okay. If you do not count the COVID shortened season, the 50-game season where they barely won the division, the Cubs have not won the NL Central since 2017. Sirhan, what do you make of the Cubs?
with all that payroll, underachieving. I mean, I
Mhm.
mean, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. I mean, that it's not just that from behind the Brewers, they're behind the Cardinals, and you just talked about it.
Yep.
I mean, of the three, they have the most talent, and getting hammered like you did over the weekend by San Francisco, the way they did, isn't going to help your cause either. I mean, PCA can be as good as anyone, but where's he been? The only thing he's known for was the
Oh,
incident not too long
he
ago.
well, let me just stop you there. He's an NL player of the week. He's the only one hitting. He's the only one hitting right now. He's been incredible last few weeks, but he's the only one hitting. But go ahead.
Uh, but yeah, they should be better. If you're going to spend all that money, and you have two teams who like the two we mentioned, the Brewers and the Cardinals ahead of you, there's a lot of questions that have to be asked, and nobody outside the PCA is uh, stepped up. And if you don't get that, and you're getting hammered by teams like San Francisco the way they were over the weekend, it's a recipe for disaster. And
They
back
should
to what
have
you
been
said.
swept. They should have been swept. San Francisco blew a ninth inning lead. The Cubs won one of the three games, but the San Francisco blew a ninth inning lead. In fact, the Cubs would have lost every game last week. They were behind in the ninth in every single game. They were down 3 against the A's, came back, scored 4 in the ninth. Thank you, PCA. And then they came back, and PCA once again, he hit a homer to tie in the ninth against the Giants. He's the only one hitting. So they could have lost every game last week. That's how bad it's going. But yeah, they've had some pitching injuries. Who hasn't? But the biggest problem with the Cubs, it's not the defense. The defense has been incredible. The lineup, it's just no one hits at the same time. It's been real inconsistent. And Alex Bregman, Ian Happ, and Seiya Suzuki are all in the top 7 in men left on base. The Cubs are getting on for them, and they're not hitting anyone in. They're average running scoring position is abysmal. In fact, the Cubs lead baseball in men left on base per game. Eight per game, men left on base. Alex Bregman's been a bust. Dansby Swanson has not hit. Nico Hoerner hit everything in sight the first 3 weeks. He's been below average since. It's a lineup that you look at it and you think it could be amazing. And it's really not. It's a below average lineup. They're like 19th in runs scored. And no, actually, I think they're 10th in runs scored, but they were 3rd or 4th on May 8th. They're now 10th. I think they're 19th the last month.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about the lineup. I mean, Swanson, I remember him in Atlanta. He was good, and that's going to be a good hit acquisition. He hasn't done anything. That lineup, and when you talk about 8 men on base on
left on base per game, by
per
far
game,
the most in baseball. Yeah,
you're not going to have any success. I mean, you can get hits, but you're not going to get hits more to get runners in scoring position to score them. You're going to lose games because now you're putting pressure on your arms to try and withstand, do their part. And what happens? Those arms start to fall off. If you try relying on the starters in the bullpen, and if you can't score runs to help them out, you're going to wind up in the position you're in. And it's one of the most crazy stats I've read before this. He asked me 2 straight 10 game winning streaks and a 10-game losing streak in the same season. I mean, that's all you need to know about the Chicago Cubs right now. It's just a roller coaster. Yeah. 1 minute, they're ready to beat the world. The next minute, the world is out to beat them.
They were 27-12, had the second best record in baseball on May 8th. And now they won't even make the postseason. They're tied for 3rd place. And yeah, one loss away, which they're losing 7-3 right now from being in 4th place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talk about I'm looking at the lineup again. Sia Suzuki hasn't been all that. I mean, it's been good, but not great. And you said Bergman, just a signing that's just flopped. That doesn't help either.
So here's the thing. Bregman is just hitting the ball on the ground too much. I don't know why he's not hitting the ball in the air. So he's grounding out a lot. It's not like he's not hitting it hard. I don't know what happened to his swing. And Seiya Suzuki missed the first 2 weeks and then hit everything when he came back. He hurt his knee in the World Baseball Classic. And ever since he hit everything, he's hit nothing. And the fact that he's 7th in baseball and men left on base and he missed the first 2 weeks, oh, that's terrible. So they need more from the corner outfield, from Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki. PCA's done his job after a really bad start, but they need more from the corner outfields. And a lot of times, like teams will put really good players on their infield that are really good defensive players to make sure. And outfield's supposed to hit. You got to have a good hitting outfield. Yes, and it has not been good enough for the Cubs. DH and outfield have been terrible for the Cubs this year, minus PCA.
Yeah, outfielders have to hit. That's what it comes down to. I mean, The next thing we're going to talk about is the same position, but we feel the same way you guys do. Leading runners on score. If you're runners in scoring position, left men on base is that high, is not sustainable. I mean, you went from the second best team in baseball to now barely over 500. That's one way to do it. Leave men on base all over the place.
Yeah, and pitching's gotten worse, and just the defense has been good. It's been fine, no problem. But it doesn't matter how good the defense is if you're not pitching and not hitting. So, yeah. Did Mike have a comment in there?
Yeah, it's about the team we're talking about after this.
Okay, well, let's talk about them right now. Last but not least, we got to talk about the Cincinnati Reds. It's Mike's team. It's your team as well. So throughout most of April, they were in first place. They got off to a great start, despite a negative run differential. But what they did was they won their first 7 one-run games. So they found a way to win all those games. Since then, it has not gone well. Injuries have been a big part of it, obviously, big time part of it. But a lot of teams have injuries, like we just mentioned, the Cubs had some pitching injuries, but the Reds have now fallen to 10.5 games back in the division. Like we said, you are a Reds fan. So tell me, what is the biggest issue for the Reds? And do you think they can fix it and get back to the postseason? Because they did make the postseason last year.
Well, let's start with this. Aside of two or the top guys, especially beginning before Ellie went down, and of course for a minute Sal Stewart, you have guys floating around batting 200, and we talked about this with the Cubs. Same thing here with the Reds. That is not sustainable for any reason. The starting pitching has,
Yeah.
aside of course, we have no Hunter Green, and Nick Lodolo's been in and out. Andrew Abbott's been good but not great, and the rest of it leaves plenty to be desired. And of course, when we got Brady Singer in the trade for Jonathan India, that's fallen off the rails.
Yep.
The division records, and this is what the Michael's come out and posted here because he nailed this. You're 2-15 against the NL Central, and the run differential is about the Reds. That's a part of it. And I haven't finished more than third in this division. Last time they won the division was when they got swept by the San Francisco Giants. And they talk about runners in scoring position for the Cubs. Look at this average for the Reds, 218. That's not going to get it done. And the lineup, I mean, no one's going to mistake him for the big red machine. But if you're batting,
it should be better. It should be better. But you mentioned
they have guys who can hit.
Well, you mentioned like hitting under two. Like Friedel hasn't been good. Benson hasn't been good. Steer, maybe is a Steer hasn't been as good.
Yes,
like they're not hitting, and like they should be better than that. And Kebron Hayes is a defensive player. He's never always going to be a big hitter, you know.
And the defense, everybody jumps all over Hayes. As you said, the guy's a defensive player. He's never known for his bat.
Yeah. But I just it's like Friedel, Benson. Where are these guys? Like, did they send Friedel down? Didn't they send him down? Or,
I don't recall.
Maybe not. Okay.
I have no idea. But
it just, so me and Mike before the season we talked about this. Like the Reds look deep. Their lineup looks deep. And they signed Eugenio Suarez. It's like, okay, they have like 10 or 11 guys that should start for everyone. But like you said, just like the Cubs, it's an underachieving lineup. It looked on paper so much better than it's been. And when they got off the good start, they weren't in close games, but they weren't scoring enough runs. And you're like, okay, they'll be fine as long as they start scoring more runs. And it just has not happened. And where would they be without Sal Stewart?
Yeah, it'd be even worse. I mean, let's put it like that. Remember, he came out guns blazing early.
Yes. And he's got a cool mustache.
Yes.
So, with great mustache comes great responsibility. So
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. It was even at the time, I never thought it was sustainable for the reason that number Michael said in the comments. I mean, if you're batting 200 runners in scoring position, you're not scoring runs.
Terrible.
And what's going to happen? And we talked about it with the Cubs, same here with the Reds. You're going to rely so much on your pitching to where if they're not scoring runs, the arms are going to be worn out. And the bullpen, and after losing a Pagan in the game of Chicago with that terrible hamstring, the bullpen's really gone off the rails. And guys they're just trying to bring guys out of nowhere, just pluck them in like temporary band-aids. That's not going to work, especially in the division, which the Reds have just been absolutely abysmal. Especially going back to that series in Pittsburgh, where the one game guys were walking guys all over the place after they loaded the bases.
And you can sacrifice bunt on the Reds all you want. The Padres like that. You just sacrifice bunt; it's going to work every time. They're not going to get out. Apparently, that was so bad. If anybody watched the game or watched the highlights, the Padres were trying to sacrifice bunt, and the Reds were getting 0 outs every time. It was really bad. So, yeah, the Reds are. I picked.
To answer your question, Michael said it. Friedel is in AA.
AAA. Okay.
Nove Marte.
Okay. So Friedel is in AAA. Yeah. He is disappointing. They've had a lot of disappointing bats this year, but you mentioned Pagan. When you lose your closer, you don't replace him with your second best player. You replace him with a AAA guy. So everyone gets moved up. So it's devastating. So say you have 8 guys in the bullpen. You replace them with your best bullpen pitcher with your 9th best bullpen pitcher. So it's devastating when you lose your closer, and it's hurt the bullpen for sure.
Yeah, and the starting pitching, for some reason Michael and I talked about this a few weeks ago. Most starters these days, they barely go 6 innings. And
Yeah.
you rely on more on your bullpen. And if you rely more on your bullpen the way they do, it's going to catch up to you. That's what's happened with the bullpen in general, even before the Pagan injury.
The average starter now goes 5 1/3 innings. The
Yeah, that's about it.
average
Yeah.
5 1/3. So yeah, that's with all the stud pitchers going 7 innings every time. So that just tells you what a lot of other pitchers do.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, who do you think will win this division? Do you think Milwaukee will hold on and win the
I think
division?
so.
You do.
Yeah. Unless somebody catch lightning in the bottle, which I think Chicago could if they get it together. But as you said, it's not going to. It looks like it's not going to happen.
I
St.
don't think
Louis.
so.
St. Louis is. They're playing solid ball, but remember, right now they're in a phase where they're playing teams with losing records. How are they going to do when they play against teams with winning records? They're playing solid, but that's really sustainable? Pittsburgh, as you said, it's probably a year or two away. So I probably would favor Milwaukee right now because they're just doing everything right, and because of it, they're winning games. It's nothing flashy, just winning. And some of the teams below them, the other four teams in that division, we talked about it. Play's not sustainable. The Brewers' play is more sustainable of the five, and I probably favor them to win it.
Yeah, the Cubs are 8 games behind Milwaukee. So I think they're the only team that could probably catch them just based on talent. But 8 games better. They not only have to, play better, they'd have to be 8 games better than Milwaukee. I don't see that.
Mm-mm.
It's just like I can't remember who it was. There's a baseball writer. He was on ESPN or MLB Network, and he said, "Can the Phillies catch the Braves?" And he's like, "Not when they're 9.5 games out. No,
Mm-mm.
they're not 9. They're not going to catch the Braves, even though they're playing better." I don't see, uh, I don't see the Cubs catching the Brewers. And but here's the problem with the Cubs. Jed Hoyer sucks. He's the general manager. He's not the worst general manager in baseball, but here's why he sucks. Every time he makes a good move, he makes a terrible move. He does one or the other, and it sets them back. You can't do that because guess what happens? You end up an average team. And that's basically what they've been. I know they made the playoffs last year, but the previous 2 years, they were right around 82, 83 wins. They were 82 and 80 and 83 and 79. That's basically what they are under Jed Hoyer. He will make a really good move and then just, what are you doing? A stupid move. And he still gets a contract extension, still gets protected by the Chicago media. Oh yeah, he's great. No, Theo Epstein built that team. He was with the organization. Theo Epstein's the one who built that World Series team. It was not Jed Hoyer. Just because he was like his second command, it was Theo Epstein. And Jed Hoyer, God, I don't know if you remember this, but 3 years ago, they had Cody Bellinger on the team.
Yeah, I remember him.
And they were in sell mode. They were not a great team. And Cody Bellinger gets hot. He hits like over 400 in the month of July. And they win 9 straight games. And they get within 3 games of the division lead, which I believe it was the Brewers. And so they decide, oh, well, we're close. Let's go for it. And they trade for Jaimir Candelario, who, as you know him very well. He sucks.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely sucks. He hit for 2 weeks, never hit again, and didn't play good defense. But they gave up a good pitching prospect for him. They're like, oh, we're close. Let's go for it. They were in Selma. They could have gotten a lot for Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger, like I said, hit over 400 that month. They should have sold. And instead, they have bought for 3 years in a row. And it's done nothing. It's one playoff series win in 3 years. And they don't have a great farm system necessarily to be right now. They don't. They don't have a top 20 farm system, in my opinion. So at some point, you can't be mediocre. Can't be 500 every year. Like they just need to get rid of Jed Hoyer and either retool or just like figure something out, because what they're doing right now, it's just not working. They're not close. Every year they're not close to Milwaukee, and they lost to Milwaukee in the playoffs last year. They made the playoffs, but they lost to Milwaukee. They didn't beat them, and because they weren't as good as Milwaukee.
Well, the Reds said the same with the Cubs with Nick Kroll. The same thing. What are you going to do? That's why they think he should be gone. And of course, the whole scenario with the Castellini's ownership team, and we know the story of that one. So just like you guys in Chicago with your GM and all of them. Same thing with the Reds and ours. Same things. Interesting parallels. You have of course, you have the more talented team than the two of us, but all the same parallels. Interesting.
Yeah, so something big just happened. Breaking news. Uh, the White Sox called up one of their top prospects. His name is Brendan Montgomery. He was a star at somewhere in the SEC, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, something like that. Anyway, they called him up today for his major league debut. He just hit a walk-off homer against the Braves in his first game. I mean, I hate it as a Braves, but wow, it's an amazing story. Yeah, Braden Montgomery, number 2 prospect in the White Sox organization, just hit a walk-off in his first career game, walk-off homer versus Raisel Iglesias. That sucks.
If I had one minor beef with your Braves, because I work with a guy who's a diehard Braves fan like you.
Okay.
That bullpen, he said, is better. Sometimes it gets shoddy because there are times early in the year it hasn't been all that great. The rest of your team is talented. Sure. I mean, you have it all. That bullpen can be real shoddy. Another example of it.
They're good. Well, before tonight, 7th, 8th, 9th, they're fine. They're fine. Yeah. Those top 3 guys. Yeah, the rest of the bullpen is suspect. If they get in middle relief, if they have to use 4 or 5 guys, it is definitely not the best bullpen. Iglesias has been terrific this year until then. But yeah, you're right. The bullpen is probably their biggest weakness. So back to NL Central. I have one more question for you as we close out the podcast tonight. How many teams does the NL Central, because 7 teams make the playoffs in each league now, how many teams make the playoffs from the NL Central? What do you think?
If my initial instinct says it's going to be Milwaukee, but if the Cardinals can capitalize on this easy part of their schedule, play the way they're doing, I think they can send a second. But I'm going to take the slam dunk route and say Milwaukee's going to win the division. They're the only one because, as I said, the rest of the division, the style of baseball isn't sustainable. And you have multiple teams in the NL West. We know the Dodgers and the Padres, at least 2 of them. I don't know the rest. I do apologize.
No, Diamondbacks are right there. Diamondbacks
also.
If they're not, I think they're in. If not, they're like a half game out. But I think Diamondbacks might be in now. They're a good team.
And of course, the NL East, the Braves, and so the Cardinals might be the other team that gets in.
I think the Phillies can get back in it too.
And so I probably say 2 at the most, because of not just that.
Yeah.
The type of baseball is not outside of the Brewers. Some of the baseball that other teams aren't sustainable. Look out for the Cardinals as they have an easier schedule. But look at the rest of the teams in the NL. There's at least, especially the West, where you said 3 of them are more. At least 2 are guaranteed. Arizona might get in, and of course, your Braves are going to more likely win that division. Philly might get in. Other than that, what is somebody outside of the Brewers and maybe the Cardinals is going to have to play sustainable baseball just to at least get close to it. Pirates, we say, Pirates, Cubs, and Reds haven't shown it.
I agree with you. I think it's 2. I think they get 2 before the season. Me and Mike, I think we both predicted 3, and it looked like 4 for a while. I think the Padres and Dodgers will definitely both make it. The Padres, the weirdest thing about them is they haven't scored very many runs. Their offense is underachieved. So have the Cubs and Reds too, but I think their offense will go, and I think the Padres in. Yeah, I think it's just 2. I don't necessarily think the Cardinals will be one of those 2. I think Milwaukee for sure, and then someone else is bound to get hot. I don't know which one. I really don't. But I think they will just get 2. And a couple weeks ago we thought, all these teams deserve to be in, but yeah, it's a tough division. So I'll say 2. All righty.
I'll wrap up a couple of comments from Michael to answer your question about Montgomery, Texas A&M.
Oh, Texas A&M. Okay, I knew it was somewhere in the SEC. Yeah.
And to answer a question about the pitching staff, of course not the Pagan, but Johnson and Graham Ashcraft on the IL.
Pierce Johnson. Oh yeah. Ashcraft too. Good Lord.
Sorry about this. I was at a game when he started against the Brewers. First 3 innings, he pitched a gym, and they were up 8-0. And out of nowhere, it was 8-8. That's what you need to know about Graham Ashcraft. And you want to talk about your pull your hair moment? That was that. It took an inside the park home run by Early on a bad bounce over the outfielder to win that game after we was up 8-0. Yeah, I was. Yeah, think about that for a minute. And the reason why it went that way is because the outfielder had a bad timing on the bounce of the baseball in front of him. It went over his head. He couldn't get it. And we know the speed of Ellie when he gets on those bases. It's like the road runner running from Wile E. Coyote. I mean, that's how fast he was that day. So yeah, I just want to bring that.
That would have been a crazy game to watch.
Yeah, it was like because we were celebrating because remember for the longest time it was like can the Reds actually beat the Brewers? We had that game under control until all of that happened. It's lucky Ellie just turned on the Jets on the inside of the park home run. So that's about it.
Wow. So
and go ahead.
No, just where would the Reds be without Chase Burns?
Oh, excellent question. Because Chase Burns been like phenomenal. I mean,
he's incredible.
Oh, he is. I mean,
and all the pitching injuries, where would they be without him? Because I was just thinking about him. I was like, and then I just quickly just looked up his stats. He's even better than I thought. He's been tremendous, especially lately. Everything is a quality start. Every time he comes out, it's a quality start.
It is.
Yeah. But yeah. NL Central, gonna be fun to watch. It was so actually a few weeks ago it was so much fun, but now one team's kind of pulled away and some other teams have fallen off. But still, it's the best division in baseball.
It is.
So, last question. Oh, you got something?
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Last question. Who wins Game 4? Spurs or Knicks? Yeah. Who wins?
We're gonna tie it up.
So you're a Spurs fan, by the way. Everyone doesn't know he's a Spurs fan.
I think they're gonna have to earn it because we know the circus before Game 3. I think the Knicks will play better, but I think the Spurs will rise. They'll tie it up.
So is the road team going to win every game in the series? Is that what's going to happen?
No. I think the Spurs knew they blew 2. They would have to, because they know for them to have a shot, they have to take both of these at Madison Square Garden. So they tie it up tomorrow night. And I think if they tie it up, home court's going to hold serve the rest of the way. But Game 4 tomorrow night, is the biggest game of this finals. Because both teams are going to have to play at their best.
I think it's a must win for the Spurs. And I think New York, if they win, it's not guaranteed, obviously, but if they win, very good chance they win it all. All right. That's our show. Thanks for watching, everyone. Lights Out podcast. So Mike is still on vacation next week. So me and Mr. First Down, we're going to do a football only special. And what we're going to do is we're going to go team by team. We're going to go all 32 teams. We're going to do every team, what can make and what can break their season. So we'll basically we'll be optimistic and then we'll be pessimistic. So that's it. That's what we're going to do for the whole show next week. It'll probably be a little shorter than usual. So yeah, NFL special. You're a big NFL fan. Make sure you check it out next week. So, Saran, once again, plug your stuff. Where can we find you?
Follow me on the X platform. The user handle Sirhan on X. You can also follow me on YouTube with the same channel, the same user handle. My so-called All Era Sports with Sirhan can be seen on the following platforms: iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and Spotify.
All right. And you can find me, Football with Cheese, CHEEZ, on X or on, YouTube, Football Cheese on X. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, all of that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Once again, next week, Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, me and Mr. First Down will have a football special. So thanks for watching. Yeah. Any last thoughts?
Thank you very much for watching. And thank you for letting me host Michael. Hope you're doing good. I look forward to joining you guys, Michael, Cheese, and everybody else here soon. Hope everyone had themselves a wonderful night.
Good night, everyone.